evening.
Good
Miss
evening.
Lorraine Dabney, how are you?
I am fine, Mrs. Hick.
Great, and I'm so excited for you. Congratulations again. I mean, couldn't have gone to a better person.
Thank you so very much.
When I was reading your bio, I was like, I didn't know you had touched so many things, started so many here in this community. Where did this passion come from?
It started when I was about 5 years old.
Tell me about 5-year-old Lorraine.
Well, when I started, it started before then. I was 3 years old, and I had a book, and that book was upside down. And I said to my mother and to my father, I want the beta totita. I want the beta totita. And my daddy kept saying, what is that? He called my mother into the room. I want the beta totita. They had no idea. The book's still upside down. So finally, I pulled up a chair and I sat down. And my mother said, a school teacher? I said, yes. So my passion started when I was 3 years old, that I wanted to be a school teacher.
Oh my, how cute of a story. And so tell me, were you the little girl who'd line up the dolls and pretend to have school?
Yes, I did. I would line up the dolls, and when all of my friends came over to visit, they wanted to go outside and play. We're gonna play school.
Oh, wow.
So I was just, for me, it was school, and I was always the teacher.
You were that friend. Mm-hmm. Always the teacher, and we all had to sit and listen to you. So over the years, as you were making career plans, going to college and that, teaching was still the only path you wanted.
That was my passion.
What was it about teaching you think you had? Is it the giving back to others?
Giving back to others that needed it. I had some friends that could not, when I knew my ABCs and they did not know theirs.
Okay.
So I would try to help them, and I thought that everybody should know their ABCs. Everybody should know how to count. Everybody should know how to print, you know. And when they didn't know how, I was always teaching them how to do it.
Yes. So when you became a teacher and you selected the younger, I noticed, children, what's the reason and not the older sector?
Well, when I was in college and I thought I was going to teach high school, but after I did my student teaching, in high school, and I said, this is not for me. This is not for me. So then I said, if I start when they are young, I can bring them up. So when you start with children when they're at that young age, you can teach them, but when they get it in high school, they think they know everything.
That is true. That is so true. Good. So then I want to bring you back to one of the founding members of the Jack and Jill San Jose. That makes sense that you would have started at Jack and Jill, just by what you've just described, the bringing the children through. San Jose at that time had nothing. Where were the other chapters in the area, and why did you see those are missing?
They had a chapter in San Francisco, and they had one in Oakland.
Okay.
And those were the two. Those were the only two chapters. And we wanted, and you know, San Jose has never had a black community, and there were very, very few blacks in San Jose. And that's why it started, because in the school we realized that our students were not getting anything about black history.
Okay.
So we wanted our children to know where they came from and how it all happened.
Right.
So that's when we started with Jack and Jill. And of course, my late husband was a historian, and he set up a black history class at Santa Clara University. Haywood, when the college was in Haywood, they changed the name of it now. But he set up a black history, and at De Anza College and Foothill. So we would have him to come and teach black history we have group 1 through 5, and he would teach black history to our Jack and Jill children.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you applied to become a Jack and Jill chapter, did you run into any questions from some of the others? Why San Jose, this little area, who didn't have?
Well, you know, number one, when one of my Link sisters asked me to become a member of Jack and Jill, I said, no, I don't need it. I'm in enough. She said, Lorraine, you live here in Palo Alto. George Jr. is never around black. In your church, you're Catholic, you're the only black. In the community, you're the only black in your community. And in the school, he's the only black. So you need to be around, he needs to be around some black children. So she took my name in. First, I'm not going to do it. But I joined it because she said, you don't need it, but George Jr. needs to be around some black children. He didn't know what he was. I took him to Metro Park, and there were two little black children on the swing, and he said, what are they doing here? I said, the same reason you're here. He walked away. I said, oh God, we have work to do. Because he never been around black kids.
Right.
So right then I said, yes, we're going to really stay in Jack and Jill because you sure need it. So my husband and I started teaching him about black history and all of that.
That's an interesting observation of your son.
Yeah.
Seeing others like himself, but yet didn't want to engage.
Yeah, didn't want to be bothered, you know.
Wow. When, of all the things you've done, when they talk about you another time, what do you want to be best remembered for?
I want to be remembered for teaching children and my community, working in the community and my church. Those three things are very, very important to me. And helping my two grandchildren, whom half African American and half Latino, letting them know that they do know that they are black.
Wow.
So that's my thing. That's my goal. I want to be remembered by that.
Right.
I still see students that I taught 30 years ago. They come out and take me to lunch and to dinner. That is something that I'll never forget. A set of twins came by 3 months ago and took me to lunch. I taught them in 4th grade.
Good grief.
And they're 31 now, but they have never forgotten me. These are all, I never taught a lot of black kids. In my 42 years of teaching, I doubt if I taught 15 black kids. I always taught up in the rich part of Redwood City. I taught the rich children that had never spoken to a black person until they spoke to me.
Really?
Had never spoken to a black person until they spoke to me.
How did they react when they first met you as their teacher?
They looked at me, and the deputy sheriff's daughter was in my class that cried every day, didn't want to go to school. She got in my class, she went home, she told them, I love my teacher. Teacher didn't know I was colored then. She said, I want to live with Mrs. Dabney. We became the best of friends. The parents accepted me, and I accepted them, and the kids did. But they had never been around, because, you know, they're rich.
Right.
They live up in the hills of Redwood City.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that was quite an experience. Coming from Chicago.
Yes, exactly.
Where there's a lot of blacks.
Right, yes, to come here.
Yeah.
What brought you to the Valley when you came to?
I came out on vacation to visit. My godparents were white Irish Catholics, and I came to visit them. I had just finished college, and they wanted me to stay and go to San Francisco State and get my teacher's credential and my master's.
Right.
So I did that, and then I met the love of my life. And that was history.
Yes. So your godparents were white Irish Catholic. Mm-hmm. How did they meet your parents?
In Chicago. They were on their way to Europe, and they got lost, and they wanted to go to Marshall Field. And my mother was pregnant with me, and my mother and daddy showed them how to get to Marshall Field. And they said, when we come back from Europe for 3 months, we want to take you out to dinner. Of course, my parents didn't believe that.
Right.
They came back, they called them. They took my parents out to dinner and said they didn't have children. And they said, can we be the godparents for your baby? And that's how I became the godparents.
And then they came here and brought you here?
They brought me to Hillsborough. I lived in Hillsborough until I got married.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Wow.
I lived there until I got married.
Great. Well, you really have a life story. Have you thought of putting this down on paper? Let's have a book.
Everybody keep telling me that's what I need
You
to
need
do.
to.
I
I'm
need
going to
to.
ask you to.
And you
Get
know,
it-
I have just been blessed. I've had such a wonderful life. Had such a wonderful husband. We came out the same year and the same month, but we didn't meet until 5 years later. My husband was the first colored to go to St. Louis University. He was the first colored teacher in San Mateo County. He was the first black professor at De Anza College.
Wow.
So we
All
just we
these
have
firsts.
we have
Yes.
all of this history.
Right, right.
And everybody tell me that I should write
You
it.
should. I'm going to ask of you to do that, especially now you're a legend.
Yeah, now I'm a legend, a legend. And you don't know
You're
this
here
is,
to get that, not after.
this has really something. It means so much to me. I've gotten my wall is just full of, plaques and everything.
Right.
But this is going to be something that I
Yes.
would just
You got
cherish.
recognized.
And just the rest of my life to a legend in the Silicon Valley.
Yes. And you were here to receive it.
Tell you.
Often one's not there when they get that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, it was great speaking to you, and you're going to have a wonderful rest of the evening. You've got a lot of friends and family, and Fireside Chat was good. Congratulations again,
Thank
Black
you.
legend
Thank
Dabney,
you.
Lorraine
And
Dabney.
God bless.